Yes, we are live. Welcome live on YouTube only. We are not streaming on Facebook. We are just streaming on uh, YouTube only. So if your friends are on Facebook, tell them, send them a message or WhatsApp text or Facebook. Send them Facebook message that uh, Karem is live on YouTube. He want to talk about the most important topic. Today's topic is about mind and body interaction, as you have seen when the premiere hits you. So if you have any question, any comment, drop them. I'm going to use my analytics and look at what you are commenting, what you are uh, your point on what I am saying, and I'm going to once you do that, I'm going to also respond accordingly. Yeah, that is that for today, guys. So let's get started. Uh, yeah, that is the topic and the article we are going to look into, and we are going to read in details. After reading, then we are going to share views and we are going to share our views and opinion on what the article say, and as neogenian, as gods, as the ones who have discovered our true self, our view on the reality of existence, of who we are, where we are coming from, and why we are here. Which one is the best? This one looks very small. At least this one. Yeah. So that is the article, and it says this is from MSD Man Consumer Version, and it say and the title is Mind and Body Interaction by Alexandria Villefort MBP. That it was published on February 2025. So it didn't show if he is a PhD holder, but he might be the associate professor, the one who have published the article. So it says the qualification of him. So it says the mind and body interact in powerful ways that affect a person's health. Yeah, that is the idea, because these bodies cannot just live for themselves. They need mind to eat, for it to be alive, for it to locomote, for it to do everything it does. Once the mind is taken out from it, then the life can no longer be exist, because mind is life, is so is everything that is fundamental to existence. So the digestive system is profoundly controlled by the mind, brain, and anxiety. Depression and fear dramatically affect the function of these systems. Now, depression, fear, anxiety, now these relate now how your body now react to hormones. Remember, the mind in the once it link in the body also have its system that led it to function. There are a lot of systems in the human avatar, the avatar that we possess. One of the system is the digestive system. It has also its function on how it goes, but it is dependent. It is dependent on the immune system. That is it, coordination on how now the all the the hormones in the digestive system works, how muscle contraction, relaxation happens. All those are dependent on the immune system. And anxiety now, all these relate now to now relate to endocrine system, the same with which is also part of the immune system, the glands that produce hormones. All these are dependent on each other. Affect the function of this system. Social and psychological stress can trigger or aggregate a wide variety of diseases and disorders such as diabetic mellitus, high blood pressure, migraine, headache. However, the relative importance of psychological factors varies widely among different people with the same disorders. You see, now it's now if your body, you are not taking good health of your body on how you build now the growth of it. That's what leads to diabetic mellitus. The deposition of adipose tissues can trigger now insulin production, which is on the endocrine system. Once it has been triggered, it means the production is triggered and your function of your avatar is compromised. Once it's compromised, then the disorder comes in. But first, you need to rationally understand this concept that once your mind is linked to your avatar, because we have already said this long time, is that the link is intuition. So it's the intuition that link, and your brain acts as a filter. So how your brain filter the mind is now your conscious. It's now the different function of the brain that links to different endocrine system energies, or we call them energy centers. Remember, there's grown energy center, which is only it relates to those of hormones that produced on the grown area for the digestive system. And they are also now the cocktail that links to the gonads, energy system. Now those are for reproduction, and those are for reproduction, we can say so. And there are those that are linked up here, and those that are for the digestion, and we have the thyroid energy center, which is thyroid gland, that is those that links that are there for consumption. And we have the pineal gland, that energy center that produce a lot of energy for visualization, reasoning, and other functions. And the last is the master gland, which is which is related to potassium, which is related to K, which is once we say potassium, and it is related to there's not pineal gland is related to third eye, which is we also say what I have said, that is the pineal gland for reasoning, and the last is master gland, which is related to there is a gland down to hypothalamus, which control other or function of other glands in the body, and it regulates the whole avatar. And the function of every other gland in the avatar. That is the function of the master gland, that we call it master gland. Or some they call it like in the surrounding creatures, the third eye is related to all-seeing eye because of the reasoning. But once you open the master gland, it means your all-seeing eye is going to be manifested. You are going to just look at it as a source that interacts, where your mind interacts, where your mind uh, links, or as it also goes to the source and to the where it goes to the source and be in combination with the analog, or like when we are living right here on the planet, everyone once he looks within, he has all his reasoning, all the information, all the thoughts that are related to planet, and at collective consciousness he also know what is collectively happening to everyone, what everyone wants to see. So it's the master gland that helps you to form the analog of the collective consciousness for you to be healthier and interact with other beings collectively and know what others are up for. It's the master gland, and what helps to do that is now meditative states that you go through in everyday life as living and growing, learning being. And what helps now is the intuition itself. Once you embracing your intuition, it helps you now to grow and actualize. So let's continue on what the article say about mind and body interaction. Yeah, so most people intuition and even major physical diseases, how this stressor do this is not most people on the basis of either intuition or personal experience believe that emotional stress can cause or alter the course of even major physical diseases. So yeah, that is the the point, because if you are in emotional stress constantly conditional, then the how your body now start to respond to those negative emotions affect your psychology, and once your psychology is affected, then it means also your brain is affected on how it filter the mind. In the end now, the avatar cells, the body cells also respond negatively, and your health now start being compromised and disorders setting. But if you are having negative emotion, or you have stress, and always remember stress, there is positive and negative stress. Stress also is what it also helps you to know that you are in danger, you need to do something to be at a better place. Stress is also what helps you to live out what is holding you back. So there is positive stress and negative stress. Remember, these things go together. So first you need to discover the source of the stress you are having. If it is the uncertainty, then you need to look for information for you to be certain, or ask questions, ask others. They should help you for you to be certain of what you are believing or what you are fearing. How these stressors do this is not clear, but I have now explained on how stress now can cause to disorders or diseases. It's because of what I explained about positive and negative stress. But if you are not aware of this, they can really hurt you and you cannot be in good health at all. Bowel movement and other relationships are less obvious. For example, the pathway and mechanism by which the brain and immune system interact are only beginning to be identified. You see, it's now the mind and body interaction, how your brain now filter the mind, how now the immune system link to the avatar and for the muscle and all the system that works in the avatar, how your immune system will help to do all the processes for all the coordination. Remember, there's parasympathetic and sympathetic pathways. So what parasympathetic is the opposite of sympathetic. You see? So all these work in perfect harmony to for avatar to achieve its homeostasis. That's why we need to first know the avatar. Once you know the avatar, now learn how your mind links to these bodies and how your avatar regulate body functions for its homeostasis and survive on the planet Earth as you are learning, growing, and actualizing. It is remarkable that the brain can alter the activity of white blood cells and that's an immune response because white blood cells travel through the body in blood or lymph vessels and are not attached to nerves. So remember, the body have its defense mechanism to microorganisms. Remember, in the holos we are living in, we are not just human. There are a lot of living organisms and even microorganisms. We are the macroorganisms, and like we are microorganisms. We are in different groups. We are there are mammals. We are of the sapiens, and there are microorganisms. Those are that are small that we cannot visualize with our naked eyes. They are only observed using the microscope. They also live on the planet, and there are even some that are heavier. Some of the microorganisms that are heavier, they also live in our avatars for us to be heavier, and they are called normal floras. They are mostly found in the openings of our avatar, like in the eyes, nose, the anus, women in the vagina. They also live there and they are called normal floras. The ingafu are the microorganisms that are harmful to our habitat. That's how creation is. That's how God wants to everything have created the horrors for us to interact, grow, learn, and actualize. All that helps us to explore ourselves. So it's up to you to learn, grow, and actualize and reach to transcend us. Or you should be trapped in these systems. Now the confusion, the abuse, the because you lack knowledge of self, of who you are. Then a lot of negative. You feel that the planet is there, is using you. You might feel you are worthless to other people while you are the one who also they need the most as you are sharing ideas, because this is a shared dream we are living in. But if you lack knowledge of self, you lack your true self, then to have that those ideas and help the collective, it's going to be hard for you. You can be trapped in a survival mode, which cannot help you to actualize, grow, and reach transcendence. And so let's continue. That's an immunosystem because white blood cells travel through the body, lymph nodes, and are not attached to the nerve. So the white blood cells, there are a lot of cells. There are white blood cells, red blood cells, and blood platelets. Have different functions. You can just Google what the function of blood cells in the human body. The article is going to pop up for you. You can learn all those functions. It's part of anatomy and physiology of human avatar. And it's everywhere. In the schools, there is that knowledge is everywhere, starting from secondary school up to tertiary education. That is the up to university. Nevertheless, research has shown that the brain does communicate with the white blood cells. For example, depression may suppress the immune system and make a person more susceptible to infection such as the common cold. So depression is really a uh, negative outcome that once you are in condition into stress or negative emotion for so long, what falls is depression and this dangerous disorder that your mind acts to it. Because once you are depressed, it means most of the hormones that helps you in fight, flight, and live are depressed. And the most what is related to that is the dopamine levels. So once the dopamine is very low, is the problem. Once it's also very high, it's also a problem. You lead to over excitement. That's why your body needs to. You really need to be cautious of what you are doing, and always consult others or gain more knowledge on how you want to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Because most depressive episodes come from failure of what you wanted to achieve. So let's continue. Mind and body medicine refer to the therapeutic technique based on the theory that mental and emotional factors can influence physical health. Yeah, our mental states. So for you to fully realize your mental states, that's when you need to know left hemispheric function of the brain and right hemispheric function of the brain and how your mind links to that. Once you know that, then you are going to do brain synchronicity. That is linking knowing the function of the left hemisphere of the brain and function of right hemisphere of the brain, and make them work together in a perfect harmony. So for you to do that, you need to know mathematics, the reality of existence. You need to know Fourier transformation. You also need to read books like CIA documents on what they say about the brain synchronicity. And for best website that have explained best about the brain synchronicity, our best YouTube channel is Mog's channel. It has explained it cleared on the left and right hemisphere function of the brain, and the CIA document of page 50, even the missing page 51 is also there. But if you don't synchronize the two, then you might be just intuitive. Your mental state cannot be in coordination. In the end, you are going to be a psychic person where your mental state is going to be just like a reservoir of everything, whether material, whether um, images is going to be, because remember your mind, your soul is creating mind, and your conscious soul is what creates, it generates dreams, it generates visual of different type. So if you haven't synchronized the two, then for you to have the mental states of the right ideas or right information on how your health is going should be in a perfect harmony, then you are going to be just using it as a reservoir, which is not necessary in a meditative state. So, and on the theory that mental and emotional factor can influence physical health, behavior, psychological, social, and spiritual methods are used to try to preserve health and prevent or cure diseases. Yeah. The mind and body is a two-way street. Not only can psychological factors contribute to the onset or aggravation of a wide variety of physical disorders, but also diseases can affect a person's thinking or mood. People with life-threatening, recurring, or chronic physical disorders commonly become depressed, and the depression may worsen the effects of the physical diseases. That's the point. So remember, depression mostly comes from failure. So failure doesn't just happen that on the ground you have failed. First, when your failure starts, and what contributes most to the depression is failure of on how to set realistic goals, to be smart on your goals. Remember, once you have set your goals, there are also a lot of negative influences on your goals, and those are the negative influences. It might be from your friends, it might be from your the ones you don't, or it might be your workmates. All that contribute to chances of failure. But if you use that stress they're giving you, learn from it and have it positive traits, change those negative, turn those, be assertive on what you are doing, turning those weaknesses to strength, then the chances of happiness also increases once you have achieved your goals. If you have achieved it, you were smart in your goals. I hope you have get what I have told you. So the last is now anatomy and the diseases. Let's talk about anatomy and the diseases. Let's see what the article say about anatomy and diseases. I'm looking at analytics. No one have yet commented, but I believe you get what I'm saying. You are going to ask questions next time, because for me to giving you out this information, and if you are not commenting or asking question, I'm 100% sure that what I'm giving you is loud and clear. You are able to grasp everything I'm telling you. Remember, this is we are living in the end time. This we we are the ones who hold the number 666, because the number six relate to Antichrist, but majority confuse who the Antichrist. Is he going to remove the religion? No, but he's going to come to here to transform religion. Because this is, remember, what we are giving you is spirituality, is the information that helps you to transform your spiritual path, not be in a depressed. Just think of new ageism that is of today, the speaking in tongues. the the thing that is about speaking in tongues. You speak in tongues once you are cautious now, aware of what you are doing, what comes in your mental states. There is a lot of pressure. There is a lot of, you might believe, abuse. There's a lot of uncertainty that contribute to also negative stress because you lack your true self. Who am I? What was really happening? Did I really communicate with God? And your mind is what interact in that. So there is also information about the voices in the head. All that contribute to that, and all that is on you for your own health. But if you are not understanding what is happening, if you are not rational, knowing what is happening, then is for your own negative. You are negatively affected. So once you are negatively affected, it means the depression episode are high. That's why you might be needing a savior to save you all the day, all night, instead of you be your own savior, instead of you looking within that and realize that the Jesus is you, the Antichrist is you, not for you to destroy your religion, but to transform it. That is why you are here. This is the time we are living in. We have to fight. Then once we do that, we are going to create the divine societies that nobody else have seen. We are going to build heaven right here on earth. So let's finish on the anatomy and the diseases. So on your anatomy and the diseases, you said the human body is remarkably well designed. That is, and once God created it, put a soul, it always in a perfect function. Most of its organs have a great deal of extra capacity or reserve. They can still function adequately even when damaged. You see? But once it has severely damaged, then you need to see a doctor. And the doctors are the ones who know if you need a transplant or there are some medication that can help to heal the organ. For example, more than two-thirds of the liver must be destroyed before serious consequences occur. And a person can usually live with only one lung, one kidney. However, other organs can tolerate little damage before they malfunction and the symptoms occur. For example, if an artery in the brain becomes blocked or ruptures, then stroke follows. because once your brain artery is ruptured in your brain, it means then the blood start to float to areas of the brain that they are not supposed to receive blood. In the end, it interferes with the filtration of the brain, its function on how to filter the mind. Now the mind is what once it's filtered is what leads to the whole avatar in all the organs. In the end, some organs don't get the information it was supposed to receive from the brain. And the the outcome of not receiving the information now is now the paralysis of that side, and the paralysis is what is called stroke. Even a small amount of tissue in a vital part of the brain is destroyed. A person may be unable to speak, move a limb, or maintain balance. If a heart if a heart attack destroys a small amount of tissues in the part of the heart that creates or carries the signal to beat, the heart rate might become dangerously slow and the person might even die. So heart attack comes in because remember the heart is the only function, it's only machine in the body that help to pump blood all up the body. And what helps the heart to do that function of not stopping beating is the conduction system. So once that conduction system is interfered, then that's what heart attacks follows. The hypertrophy. It might be the once the conduction system has been interrupted, then there might be hypertrophy, the abnormal growth of the cells, because it is failing to pump blood throughout the body in a homeostasis way. That is blood that is coming from the left part of the heart is not in accordance to the blood that is going out from the right part of the heart. Because remember, the once the blood is inside the heart, oxygenated blood from the lungs, then it also goes to all other parts of the avatar. Once it's in all other parts of the avatar, it's where now the cells use it, and all that comes in is deoxygenated blood there that goes back to the heart, to the lungs for purification. That's the how the avatar systems work. There's coordination to each of it and dependence on each other organs for the avatar to be healthier and in good condition. You can just Google every system and now start applying reason and logic to know how every system interact with each other. First, you need to know human skeleton is a system. Then once you know human skeleton, you know digestive system. Then after knowing digestive, you know respiratory system. After knowing respiratory system, you have to know excretory system. After knowing excretory system, then know circulatory system. Now circulation of the blood. After knowing circulation, then now understand coordination, the nervous system, on how now information is sent for each system to work properly. After understanding that, then you know the brain, how the brain send messages in the nervous system. After knowing that, then it's when you should come to this knowledge we are giving you about it, understanding now existence and the truth to existence, understanding who you truly is, who you truly are. Once you do that, then this life here is going to be hard you because you have your true self. You'll be able to say no to things you don't want, and you'll be able to say yes to things you want. You think they are going to contribute to the collective consciousness. that is to analog or yeah. So that is that we had today. I hope it has been understood and it's simpler. So if you have any question, don't forget always ask. Once you ask them, then we are going to share ideas. We are going to help each other on how we can help each other to raise consciousness. And don't forget to share this information to your friends, families, because once the information is shared, then it means everyone is getting helped and we are all collectively raising our consciousness. Once we have raised our consciousness, then we are on our age to discover true self, to discover our divinity that is hidden inside us. We are about to discover the kingdom of God that is hidden inside us, not outside of us. Yeah, that is that I wanted to share with you guys. Bye. Sorry.